It's 9 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show. News Talk 710, KNUS. Sheriff Steve Reams, Weld County, forced to release somebody because of this statute, this law that exists that we've been talking about for months now, at least going back to April. Channel 7 covering it for a year now. A series of people have been forced to be released back into the community because they're deemed mentally unfit to stand trial. There's no beds for them to go to at these asylums. And so what do? Man, just go. And this is on everything from attempted murder, car crashes that resulted in people dying, DUIs, no punishment. And Steve Reams, Weld County at this point going, I've got a duty to notify my constituents that there's a dangerous person out there. I have no choice. This is the law that was passed out of the state legislature, signed by Governor Polis. Elon Musk tweeting yesterday about it, going, what is going on here in Colorado? And then the gall of Jared Polis to say that this is unacceptable when he signed the law that requires this to take place. Unbelievable. We're going to talk with Sheriff Steve Reams coming up. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show. Let's get to Blake Olson, news and comment.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good morning, Wednesday, 66 and sunny in Denver, expecting a high of 90 today. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, a key inflation measure is down. August Producer Price Index, which measures how much it costs to make certain goods, dropped 0.1%, according to numbers out today from the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
This is my state, and I am going to be a governor, and I'm going to run a campaign that speaks to the needs and the interests of those folks that are here in Colorado. Things like affordability, lowering insurance costs, safer communities, better schools, lower cost of government, and gosh darn it, we need to fix our roads, right?
Amen. Barb Kirkmeyer wants to be governor, and she joined Jeff and Billy last hour.
It's time. It's time that we have a governor who actually governs in this state and that realizes that Colorado's best days are still ahead of us. Some folks in my party are just content with making a point. For me, I think voters see right through that, and I'm committed to making a difference for Colorado. And all you have to do is just go back and look at my past and my accomplishments from ensuring that we have funding through the Kids Matter Fund for education. I know how to build roads. We have the only county highway in Weld County, and I helped get that road built.
Yes, I love that highway. County Road 49, where the Broncos turf is grown, by the way. Speaking of the Broncos, the owners say they're going to build a brand new dome with a retractable roof so they can hopefully play on that natural grass at Burnham Yard, which is just east of I-25 near 6th Ave, where all the old train tracks are. 58 acres, and they say they'll use most of their own money. That is a win. I hope they use all of it. DJT wants the man accused of their money, that is. DJT wants the man accused of murdering Ukrainian refugee Irina Zarutska on that Charlotte light rail train to receive the death penalty. In a post on Truth Social this morning, Trump also said that DeCarlos Brown Jr. should be given a quick trial because there is no doubt. Geraldo, top of my list today of faves. That doesn't happen a lot, but go ahead, Geraldo.
My first thought was, what's the death penalty statute in North Carolina? So then I felt relief when the feds came in, and I knew that the death penalty would be on the table because it was a federal death penalty offense. And then I saw, when I read further, that although there has not been an execution in North Carolina since 2006, that they have firing squads. And I think that if you ask for volunteers for firing squads, they would be such a big crowd that you wouldn't be able to deal with it. Why? Because he knifed her from the back. He almost cut her head off. She came from Ukraine. I could throw up talking about it. It is sometimes it's too much. Sometimes it goes too far.
No doubt. Senator Rand Paul exposes that Dr. Fauci directed employees of the NIH to destroy federal records and tried to conceal information related to a congressional investigation into COVID and demands Fauci testify before Senate. Quote, please delete this email after you read it. End of quote. Fauci wrote. Rand Paul says he denied it under oath.
It's not my signature, and it's not the way I speak. And anybody that's covered me for a long time knows that's not my language. It's nonsense. And frankly, you're wasting your time. All you do is trying to get off the great success of D.C. and about 200 other things we've done that are so successful.
DJT addressing the phony birthday card last night before he went into Joe's Seafood with VP J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, and the commies made their way into the restaurant, which was amazing to compare the president to Hitler again. DJT will be in New York City tomorrow to remember 9/11, and then tomorrow night he'll head to the Bronx for a Yankees game. Authorities in Larimer County believe that they have found the body of the missing paddleboarder. The search began Sunday afternoon at Horsetooth Reservoir. The sheriff's office says the identity and cause of death will be released at a later time.
Wear a life jacket. Take this from a guy who 5 summers as a river guide, countless trips through Colorado's rivers. Just they make ones that you don't even realize you're wearing them. But just always wear a life jacket.
And I feel like this is about the 8th to 10th story, that we have done this summer on no life jackets and drownings on the water. I agree with you. There's no doubt. Take it from Jeff.
And it's not a pool in the sense that anywhere really in Colorado is there a body of water that's clear. So you're gonna disappear down there, 2 feet from your face, and people can't see anything. So
absolutely, it's
keep
it's
that
not
in
like
mind.
a swimming pool,
right?
Absolutely. All right, a Boulder man recovering after being attacked by a bear, so be careful out there. He was walking his 2 dogs on High Street, and then a bear and the cub come up and attack him. He got scratches on his back, superficial wounds, they say. The CPW says residents need to be vigilant about securing trash cans, reporting bear sightings, and remember that hibernation season is approaching. Jury selection continues today in the federal trial of Ryan Ruth, the man accused of trying to assassinate President Trump, an absolute lunatic. 64 in Westminster, 65 in Littleton, 66 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Low pressure over the Pacific Northwest will slowly migrate eastward in the days ahead, keeping a moist, mild southwest wind flow into Colorado, keeping temperatures warm and giving us a daily chance through Saturday for afternoon and evening scattered showers and thunderstorms. Highs will be 80s, overnight lows 50s. Weather is a service of L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Friends, today is the last day to get to the Mountain High Appliance Labor Day sale. Mountain High Appliance recognizes that Labor Day honors hard work, and KitchenAid has been one of the hardest working brands since 1919. Mountain High is clearing out KitchenAid's floor models to make room for new arrivals so you can take advantage of the guaranteed lowest price. Mountain High has Colorado's most experienced sales staff, so why would you go anywhere else? Get to Mountain High Appliance today and experience the difference. Yesterday, Elon Musk responding to an issue we've been covering here in Colorado. But here was the tweet. Colorado Sheriff Steve Reams admits he was forced to release a very dangerous inmate from jail because of state law that requires criminals found incompetent to stand trial to be released. He is a very dangerous person, and his actions, from what we can tell, were unprovoked. Joining us now is the Sheriff of Weld County, Steve Reams, doing a fantastic job up there. Sheriff, thank you for taking time to join the Jeff and Bill Show.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my pleasure, guys.
Well, tell us about this particular case, this gentleman that you've had to notify the public is a serious danger, and you're stuck. Your hands are tied.
Yeah, so Mr. Ephraim DeBiza was arrested in downtown Greeley in April by the Greeley Police Department for a very serious assault on quite frankly, innocent individual. Was just walking with a group of friends after they had been out for a night of food and drinks. Mr. DeBiza, along with his friends, singled this group out, and they were trying to cause problems from what we can tell. The eventual victim was trying to separate his group of friends from this situation and kind of take point in protecting everyone. And of course, that he became the focus of this guy's terror. So they kind of square off in a little bit of a fighting stance. And of course, the eventual victim, he's had a few drinks, and they were out for a good time that night. So the suspect, Mr. DeBiza, he gets into a fighting stance, takes a swing at the guy while he turns his head for a second and knocks him unconscious, and then just jumps on him and proceeds to beat the victim about the head, and to the point where he caused serious bodily injury. He had to be transported for medical care. Spent quite a bit of time in the hospital for rehabilitation, and the suspect gets arrested. Like I said, brought to my jail. But long story short, over the course of several weeks, we find out about his criminal history. He's had, I think, 10 prior contacts in law enforcement. He had previously been given a mental competency evaluation that ruled him incompetent on some prior charges. So that essentially carried over to this current charge, where he was being held for attempted second-degree murder. And that competency evaluation went forward. It was reaffirmed through the courts here because of some bad provisions in state law. And long story short, I was forced to have to release him on Monday. And just to make things clear, this person he doesn't have an insanity defense. This is a competency issue. This guy functioned in normal, everyday housing activity. He was not on a mental health plan inside of my facility. He followed the rules. He had one write-up the entire time he was here. His issue is that he's a refugee from Tanzania, and he does not have a strong grasp of our criminal justice system. And because of that, that's being used as a reason to find him incompetent, because they say he can't actively participate in his own defense. Well, my argument would be that's why you have an attorney appointed for you. But because his ability, allegedly, to understand our criminal justice system is so low or so lacking, he basically gets a free pass. And so he's out on the street, and he has every opportunity to continue his violent reign if he chooses to do so. And as a law enforcement official, I don't feel as if I could release this person. I certainly didn't want to, but I couldn't release him in good conscience without at least warning the public that he was out there, because it's the only tool I have left.
Wow. And it's a powerful tool because it got the attention of Elon Musk. I mean, it was not many of us that get messaged from Elon Musk about this. Tell us about that the attention that that's brought, and it even forced a response from Jared Polis.
Yeah, it's interesting. You would think that, Jared Polis would have responded to these types of issues with the Solomon Galligan case. That would have been enough for me as a person in his position to say, hey, we're about to have a special session. Why don't we fix this now? But regardless, we have yet another example of where the system is just broken. And it's not until Elon Musk says this is outrageous or this is crazy. I think he actually said WTF. And, so Polis responds back with this diversion technique where he's basically pointing to other provisions of statute saying, well, he could have been committed, for some kind of mental illness, blah, blah, blah. Like these steps weren't looked at or weren't considered. They absolutely were, but this guy doesn't fit. And that's the problem is, they don't ask the people who are dealing with this every day. The legislature, passed this bill in 24. The governor signed it, and because they came up with it, it must be such a good idea. But those of us who have to interact with this stuff, we were saying then and we're saying now, it doesn't work. You can design it for the best case scenario, but unless you design it for the worst case scenario, which is what we're dealing with right now, this is the outcome you get. And, I'm sorry, but the criminal justice system has failed the residents of Weld County. They've failed the residents of Colorado, and so has the legislature and your governor.
Amen. Preach. That's Steve Reams, is the Weld County Sheriff. And as you pointed out, Sheriff, this has happened for a while now, and I want to give a tip of the hat to Natalie Chuck, Denver 7, because she's been on top of this, going back well over a year to some of the problems. Here are some of the headlines here. Listen to this. This is from Channel 7, going back at least a year. Change to Colorado mental health law sparks issues with 2022 stabbing case in Lakewood. Complexity of competency. How state doctors decided a man is unfit to stand trial after a fatal crash. Here's another one. Jeffco judge drops charges against man accused of killing 2 women in a 2021 drunk driving crash. Here's another one. Charges officially dropped against attempted kidnapping suspect after competency finding. Here's another one. Mental health competency in Colorado. Arapahoe County DA speaks to Denver 7 after blowback over dropped charges. This was laid out since 2024, signed by Governor Polis, and it is creating a real problem. Now, Steve Reams, Democrats aren't the only ones to blame in this. Republicans supported the law. Republicans were notified. I notified Republican leadership going back to April of this year, going, this is a major problem. Can you all at least raise it while we're still in session? Didn't see that raised. Come up to a special session. Conservatives, Michael Fields, Advanced Colorado, calling for this to be brought to attention during this latest special session. Not brought. So, yes, Democrats absolutely at fault, but Republicans need to step up and address this as well. Will Elon Musk bringing attention to this finally, you think, bring changes?
I don't think it hurts. I wish that Elon Musk and the Trump administration were, back on a little bit better terms, because the Trump administration could be involved in this too. As I said, this guy is a refugee from Tanzania, and unfortunately, he doesn't meet the status to be deported because he hasn't been convicted of a crime. So there's this giant loophole that continues to exist where, because he doesn't get convicted, he gets to remain on refugee status. While he remains on refugee status, he continues to violate the laws of our state. So, and wherever he goes, the refugee status is going to be of concern. But there's a whole lot of things that need to be fixed. All I can do is bring light to it. And you're absolutely correct. This isn't just a Democrat issue. This went across partisan lines. And I know there was probably some good intent here. I'm not going to defend their actions because now we know the ramifications of this really bad law. Now we can see it. There's all the examples you just spoke about, including my own. There's no reason to not fix this. You had a special session, call another one. Get it done. Fix this issue before someone gets gravely hurt.
Thanks to you, you're raising the awareness. Now, have you been able to contact ICE? Are you even legally allowed to contact ICE about this guy?
Well, so another great question, Jeff. Because of the ridiculous laws in the state of Colorado, where our governor says we're not a sanctuary state, which is just an abject lie, I'm not allowed to go out and contact ICE in a proactive way. Fortunately, I do have a relationship with them where I can say, hypothetically, if this situation existed, what could you do? And they basically told me, hey, our hands are tied. Now, I will tell you, once this person was released, I got contacted by several federal entities saying, hey, we're trying to figure this out, but right now, there's nothing we can do. And again, for the governor to get on X and say, oh, you should have just done this, it's crap. Like that, you just can't do that. And tell the general public that, oh, the solution was here, they just didn't use it. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And, if he really wanted to engage in this problem and fix it, he'd be calling me and saying, how can we get it? How can we make this right? He'd be calling the district attorney here in Weld County. I mean, that's not occurring. Instead, he's getting on X and fighting with Elon Musk. Quit arguing and just fix it.
I love it. Quit arguing, just fix it. And I want to remind people, too, that organizations like the Colorado Parent Advocacy Network have organized rallies around the failure of this law. They've held press conferences. They've stood outside of the DA's office in the 18th Judicial District going, address this problem. Quit releasing criminals into our communities. Great organizations here in Colorado have tried to raise the awareness. Wonderful news organizations like Denver 7 have followed this for over a year. And true to form, what it finally took to get Jared Polis to at least pay attention to this was a celebrity. I mean, we saw it with Kim Kardashian. Now Elon Musk. Now we know how to get the governor's attention. It's not being a constituent. It's not raising a concern. It's not being violated by his decisions. Nope. You just got to be famous, and then he'll pay attention to you.
Yeah, this is a demoralizing thing to even have to bring forward to the public. I can tell you as a law enforcement person, the last thing you want to do is release a violent person into the community. If I were the governor of this state, if I were in Governor Polis's shoes, I would have to think, you know what, this is demoralizing to me as a governor too. I want to get this fixed. For it to take someone like Elon Musk before he'll climb out of the shadows and respond, that's not leadership. It's disgusting.
Amen to that. That's Weld County Sheriff Steve Reams. Now, Sheriff, you're up against a challenge, which is a term limit. You've done a wonderful job for the people of Weld County. You have delivered law and justice. You've made the streets safer. What's next for you?
Well, I've spent 28 years with Weld County. The last 11, when it's all said and done, the last 12 years of my career will be as the Weld County Sheriff. It's been an honor to serve. But in those 28 years, I haven't just been solely focused on what can the sheriff's office do to make life better for the citizens in Weld County. This is a county effort. And I've watched some great people serve as county commissioners. I worked with Commissioner Kirkmeyer for many years when she was here. Obviously, I've continued to work with her as a senator, and I've had some great examples in those seats. And I think I can add to that legacy of continuing to serve the citizens of Weld County. So I announced my candidacy for county commissioner, and as of now, it's a contested race. But I think I can improve the direction of where this county's going by using some historical perspective, but also with a public safety lens, and just kind of saying let's do what's best for our constituents. I'm not worried about making a name for myself. I'm just making sure. I just want to make sure that the county is in the best direction it can possibly go. And I think my addition to the Board of County Commissioners will be welcomed by the citizens just based on the outpouring of support I've gotten already.
That's fantastic news to hear. You're hearing it here on the Jeff and Bill Show. Weld County Sheriff Steve Reams, term limited, now running for Weld County Commissioner. And I love people that are willing to step up to serve their communities. It's not in my DNA. I don't think I'll ever be an elected official. It is in my wife's DNA. I see it every day. She has a passion to serve her community. She serves on the school board. She's a planning commissioner. Sure. She just loves to make her community better. She takes calls from people. She wants to help them with their problems. That's what I love about people like Steve Reams, is that they're wired to want to improve things in their communities. They see problems, they want to address them, and to hear that after years of serving as a sheriff, you're ready to step into a new role as a county commissioner, I think that's fantastic, and it's a great kind of future for Weld County to continue to have that continuity of care and service. Question to you, are you going to miss being able to tackle people? Because county commissioner won't necessarily have that role. I guess you could, maybe with fellow county commissioners, but going hands-on, I know, is something that police always like to do.
Well, I'm getting older as time goes on. My desire to want to tackle people is not as high as it used to be, but I'll figure out a way to fill that void. It's a pleasure to just stay, have the opportunity to at least stay connected with the county. If the election, if the voters in the election will go that way. But I encourage everybody out there that wants to show their support, get on reamsforcommissioner.com. You can see my talking points, and you can certainly make a donation. Every little bit helps at this point.
And what do you see for the future of Weld County? Are you guys facing a lot of development challenges the way that other counties are? Questions about multifamily development, how it's going to look, how it might change the county. I could tell you what we're facing in Elbert County, but what are you facing in Weld County?
Well, so we're pretty fortunate in Weld County. We are a home rule charter county, so it gives us a little more control of our destiny here as a county. And I know that's been a controversy down in Douglas, but it's proven to be a very good process for Weld County since 1978. And I think we'll continue to lean into using our home rule charter to protect us as much as possible from some of the overreach at the state. But, the people that are moving to Weld County are doing so to escape that liberal creep that is going through Colorado. So some of the issues you're seeing in certain parts of the state, we're a little insulated from, even though we do, touch the Denver metro area. It's not necessarily a friendly touch. So we try to make sure that the lifestyle that has been garnered and preserved here in Weld County continues on in the future. There's some great people that serve in this county in elected capacity, and there's even better citizens that move here. I think we're on the right path for a long future, as long as we continue to keep our eye on the prize.
That's Weld County Sheriff Steve Reams, now running for commissioner up in Weld County. You can go to his website, reamsforcommissioner.com, reamsforcommissioner.com. Getting a retweeted comment from Elon Musk, the world's richest man, calling out what Jared Polis has created in this state. Steve Reams fighting to keep the community safe. And I think we can count Elon Musk as a supporter. I'm just going to say, Elon, supported by Elon Musk. Maybe we could get him as a donor as well. Steve Reams, you're doing a great job. Real appreciate your time this morning.
Yes,
thank you,
thank you, sir.
Hey, thanks for bringing attention to this, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, let's talk advanced hair restoration. For many of us, it's happening. Your hair might be thinning, your crown's disappearing. Maybe hair loss has your feelings lost. You're feeling your identity is lost altogether. Well, I got good news for you. It's an incredible yet simple one-day treatment that starts growing your own natural hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. It's the Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. They help retain what you have, but what if what you want is your own natural hair permanently in specific areas? From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to world-class Dr. Tanya Paul's, it's not maybe your hair will regrow. It's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's why Advanced Hair is the winner of Westward's Best of Denver. For your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts, give them a call at 720-459-HAIR. That's 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com. Advancedhair.com. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. Plus, Peter Boyles joining us live in studio. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. You know, Billy, earlier on the program, we had Barb Kirkmeyer, and I've got a poll at x.com/Jeff Hunt. Who are you supporting to be the Republican nominee for Colorado governor? Text message from Gabe, fan of the program, saying, I'd vote for Pete. I'd vote for Pete to be governor. He wrote in Stephen Tubbs last time.
That's right. I'd be the people's crook.
that we need. The people's crook would be great.
Yeah, remember our motto: vote early, vote often.
Right. Peter Boyle's live in studio with us. He hosts his show on 710 KNUS from 9 to 1 each Saturday, and it comes by from time to time to preview what he's got. So what do you got for us?
First of all, thanks, and I've listened to you guys coming in about you had a food fight coming in. I heard that also. And
if the sun's shining, Billy and I are fighting.
Oh, yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Sure, of course. Everybody knows Deborah Flora. She ran for office. She had a radio show, but you know she was in Hollywood. She was on a soap, and she was involved in all kinds of beauty contests and everything.
Miss Colorado at one point.
Miss Colorado, and her husband Jonathan has become a really great friend.
Great guy.
And it's a wonderful marriage, and they're coming in to talk. So, yeah, it's kind of a one-off radio show, but it'll be a good one.
Well, I mean, Deb Flores sits on the board of Moms for Liberty, for instance, highly active in parental rights and education.
Oh, yeah.
As you mentioned, she had a good shot at Congress recently.
She did.
It was a very competitive. It was for the 4th congressional district. So many candidates in, but she gave a good run at it.
I'm asking her, you know, what her plans are, and but they're just. I went down to Castle Rock with them, and I just said, and of course Jonathan worked for Disney, but he also worked for Vince McMahon, and worked in pro wrestling for years. Just, I mean, he is one of the best guys ever. So they'll sit with us, and then. I love MMA, and a young up-and-coming Denver fighter by the name of Grant Neal. And I don't, you know, people have their views of MMA, UFC, but this kid's a gunner. So he's coming in studio, and we'll see what happens. But I'm really looking forward to the show on Saturday. It'll be one of those cruise shows, you know, and they'll take calls. Yeah. And so that would be good stuff. But
Grant Neal. Light heavyweight.
Yep.
6 feet, 205 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
He's only 29.
He's a kid, yeah.
His nickname, do you know what that is? The Truth.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'm looking him up right now. Yeah.
The fighters get nicknames, and ball players get nicknames. But
9-2-0.
Yeah, he's
that's
good.
A good vet. Yeah,
he's got a good
Where's
record.
he from? Is he from here?
Yeah, he's a Denver guy. So
wow.
Yeah, so he's going to come in and talk about slugging, and I love that stuff.
So you're too old, and Billy's might be too old for this. But did you ever play Mike Tyson's Punch-Out?
Oh, hell yeah.
The video game on Nintendo? Yeah, your son probably played it. Okay.
Glassjaw Joe. I know Mike Tysson.
Glassjaw Joe is why I will never be in MMA. So the first guy you played in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was Glassjaw Joe. My jaw is so thin that one punch would probably rearrange my face. Yeah, so that it is not a sport for me.
Well,
I like watching it, but
I mean, it's a raw sport.
It is.
It's a very raw sport, and it draws to it. I've known a couple of very good fighters. I knew Ron Lau very well, and Lonnie Lewis, and some of the guys, local fighters, and have been around it and tried it out a couple of times myself. But to see a really, really, really good fighter, woo, you know, sit ringside and watch somebody really good.
Amazing.
Change your mind.
Well, and MMA combines a whole lot.
Everything.
Right? It's not just boxing. That's what I've always appreciated about it is you could be a good grappler. You could be Ronda Rousey, for instance, good with judo, I think was her sport.
Yes, it was.
And you can win. So it allows an expertise across a variety of different fields, and you could still win the match.
Well, the first people who actually, you know, the first MMA, UFC fights were here in Denver, and they were at McNichols. Yeah. And the family was the Gracies, the legendary Gracies from Brazil.
I still have the VHS tapes of those first two events at home in the crawl space.
We sat
Yeah.
And remember the G-Man, Richie Goins?
Yep.
He was
Yeah.
the ring announcer, and they had, let me see, I forget who they had brought in a couple of different guys, and anyhow, so the Gracies all came in and did the radio show. And they did it more than once. They did it a couple times, and I met the dad, the guy who was the originator in Brazil. He was now close to 90, I think, or in his 90s. And as the story goes, the Japanese guy comes to Brazil, and the Gracies developed their own style. Well, they brought it to the U.S., and they cleaned everybody's clock for about 2 years. And then the American fighters got onto them. And, Sakuraba, Billy, the Gracie hunter.
Yep.
But now it's so refined. But you're absolutely right. They take judo, jiu-jitsu, boxing, wrestling. You bring it and you try it out.
Yeah, it's almost like when, in my opinion, when Dan Severn hit the shoot matches in Japan because of what they were doing there, and he was so different from everything else they were doing at the time. He had a skill set they didn't know what to do with. And so he ate them alive for a few years, and then they figured him out. Right. Yeah.
Well, the Shamrocks
Shamrocks
came out of that. And locally, there was a guy by the name of Dr. Death. And
Steve Williams.
Yeah, Steve went to high school here, and he came home. He was ill, and Steve and I became very good friends, rode motorcycles together, and used to talk. And he fought in the shoots. And the shoot fights were the precursors to what we're watching now.
I just always find it amazing that you could be like Ronda Rousey, an expert in judo, an Olympic champion in judo, and now you got to face somebody that's a striker, or you got to face somebody that's a pro wrestler, and that's not your skill set. So you got to adjust.
She got beat.
She did.
But
by a boxer, basically, right?
Who beat her? Yeah. But she wasn't ready. It's like I talk about Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas, and this goes to what you and I talk about politics. Buster Douglas there was no reason Buster Douglas could beat Mike Tyson, but he did. Yeah. Because Mike Tyson wasn't ready. Yeah. And so when we watch outcomes of elections, it's the same thing. Did this guy lose the fight, or did this guy win the fight? Because there is a difference.
Now, how'd you get to know Grant Neal?
Actually, through Leanne Williams, and I've been hanging around fighting for a while, but she said, watch this guy. And so he's coming in studio.
Yeah, big following on Instagram, 15,000 followers.
Yeah.
And here in Colorado, so you guys are going to have a great conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, the Floras joining you, and everything from Hollywood to politics to
it's going to be a good
parents and education.
Yeah.
So that'll be great.
Yeah.
9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturdays, Peter Boyles. Now, Pete, you go on air and the phone lines light up. People love to talk to you.
Oh, you're kind.
Yeah. Well, that development of that personality, you got really devoted fans.
Well, as I've said many times, many ways, I know what I think. I'd like to know what they think. I mean, I know what I think. And anymore, I said this to someone the other day. I said, back in the salad days for me in this business, I had an answer to any question you ask. Now I don't know what the question is. So I'd much rather hear it from you and Bill and listen to what listeners say, and far more than, and there's stations now in town that don't take calls.
Yeah. They hardly read their text messages.
How can it be talk radio?
Yeah, that's a great point.
I mean, it isn't, and now it's listen to me radio. Well, that doesn't work. This is a
we all enjoyed that, getting lectured at in school. That was always our favorite class.
Oh yeah. Will you imagine teaching him?
That was a handful.
I mean, I had him with me for a decade, and
9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturday, 710 KNUS. It's great if you're out running errands or if you're at home doing work. Turn it on, because it's conversation, it's intimate, dialogue that you're not going to get anywhere else. Definitely not on any other station. It takes place, and it's so popular. The podcast downloads are huge. It is classic Peter Boyles.
It's also Saturday morning, and
Yeah.
Guys are just like you're talking about. And they pick up the cell phone, they're in a car, they're going to the hardware store. Let me tell you something. I go, rock and roll.
That's why we love it. Right before that, John Caldera, 7 to 9, then
Thanks,
Pete,
guys.
9 to 1. Always great to see you, sir. We'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Let's go to the phone lines. Dave and Divide. Good morning, Dave. You're on with Jeff.
Yeah,
and
morning.
Bill.
Morning, guys. It's kind of ironic to me. Last 2 days we've been talking about Charlotte, and look what happened to this guy in Weld County. You know, he cheap shots the guy, and gets him, and he gets more chances. So, but I was looking through the book as I was listening to you guys, and I got a quote here I'm going to read. It's a quick one. It's by Thomas Hobbes, Hobbes, from 1588 to 1679 was his life. And it says, successful wickedness hath obtained the name virtue when it is for the getting of the kingdom. And that, I'll just say it again, successful wickedness hath obtained the name virtue when it is for the getting of the kingdom. Look at the special session. That was supposed to be to make things better, but it's actually for the getting of the kingdom. Oh, we have to be good to criminals. We have to give them multiple chances, the poor criminals. Again, the getting of the kingdom. They just, when you invade a country, when you allow an invasion of 12 million illegal aliens, you're definitely not going to mind some of them taking out your opponents, the people like, everybody from that Lake and Riley gal. What happened in Charlotte.
Power. So long as it gives the progressives more power in government, they'll embrace it. You're exactly right.
Yep.
Dave Divine,
I
great
like
call.
that, man. I love that. Yeah, Thomas Hobbes, man, the author of Leviathan. That's fantastic. And I think, Dave, it's very, very appropriate, the idea that we are reflecting on that you can't hold someone accountable based on decisions they have made and what that level of accountability is. We've seen in Colorado someone that was driving so fast and injured themselves while killing someone else, but because of the injuries they caused to themselves, not being held responsible for the crime. And as Sheriff Reams outlined earlier this hour, we have an immigrant who doesn't seem to understand the complexities of our criminal justice system, and so then gets kicked out. I'm sorry. I was not aware that I don't understand was an excuse for me being able to commit crime. If it was, I would have shoplifted a whole bunch of more stuff as a teenager. Just saying. Sorry about that, Mom, but yeah, a whole lot more. I don't understand. I can't take this. If that's all it took,
Isn't
my
that
God.
amazing?
Yeah, I would go on a one-man crime spree. Yeah, that's
Dave
ridiculous.
Divide, great
Thanks,
call.
Dave.
Thanks so
Appreciate
much.
that, man.
Hey, if you missed any of the show, go to 710knus.com to download the podcast, because Colorado's newsmakers are on the Jeff and Bill Show. Barb Kirkmeyer announcing she's running for governor. Top Republican on the Joint Budget Committee joined us. Sheriff Steve Reams being retweeted by Elon Musk, forcing Jared Polis to respond. He joined us as well. Great conversations. Thank you to everybody you've been listening to. The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS. It's hump day. Deep breath.